We haven't talked about this in a really long time. COVID's back in the news. COVID numbers are way down, but we know that COVID is here to stay. The vast majority of us will likely be infected and reinfected over time. But the question is, should we care about it, and why?
The 2-Minute Checkup with Dr. Dave.
Go ahead and put a comment down below if you know somebody over the last month or two who've had COVID-19. The virus is still out there. You've all heard me say that I think that everybody should have a COVID strategy, a real plan for COVID-19, and research estimates that the majority of the world's population has been infected at least once. But here in the United States, the estimates suggest that at least 65% of us, maybe more, have been infected more than once, some of us multiple times. The percentage of those infections, as it turns out, will increase over time. COVID's not going anywhere, and the chances are that we'll all have multiple reinfections with COVID-19 over the next decade. The immune system does work, in fact. The researchers have looked at this. They looked at NBA cohorts of players, of staff, and their families, and they showed that the people who become reinfected with COVID-19, they clear the virus faster. And the people who have had a vaccine dose in between the two infections, they cleared the virus even faster. Only 1% of people who have had COVID-19 have died from COVID-19. So that number seems small, except when you look at the real numbers. The real numbers, 103 million cases in the United States alone of COVID-19. That means it's 1.1 million people have died from COVID-19. There was a large study as well, and that study showed the vast majority of people who get reinfected, more than 75% of them, have mild illness both times. Okay, we got it. A smaller percentage, although a significant number of people who weren't hospitalized the first time will be hospitalized on a subsequent infection. Here's the problem. We don't know how to identify those people. We don't know what the risk factors are that make them more susceptible on the reinfection. This other part, long COVID. You don't know COVID-19 unless you've talked to somebody who's had long COVID or you had long COVID yourself. Long COVID is agonizing for very many people. And the risk of you developing long COVID, although it goes down with reinfection, it does not go to zero. And there are people who didn't get long COVID symptoms after the first infection that will develop it after reinfection. And we don't know how to identify those people. It is because of this I want you to have a COVID strategy for the next 5 years, and I'm going to give you 5 points, and I'll do it in the next video.